In this video, I am just going to show you how I built this Steadicam. Laminated plywood for the body. You can see I use a weight right here. It has a nice slider built onto it. When I switch over to a bigger lens, I can back this off, and that weight of the bigger lens means that I don't need to change my weights around. And these are the parts you're going to need for this project. 2 sheets of 3/4 inch plywood, and I went ahead and glued these up last night. You're going to need some kind of wooden dowel rod or old shovel handle or something like that. That's going to be your handle. You're going to need some wood glue to glue these things together. You are going to need a slider. I'm going to put a link to this down below. If you don't use a slider, you're going to constantly be off balance when you change lenses. This guy has 2 holes in the bottom here. You're going to need a bolt for this hole. You are going to need a Traxxas joint. I have tried a million ways to make my own Traxxas joints, and they've never really worked out. So just buy one of these. I'll put a link down below. And the way you set this up is there's a metal roller in the middle here, metal ball, and you just kind of pry these ends apart, slip the metal ball in there, and then squeeze it back together. A skateboard ball bearing. This ball bearing is going to fit with your Traxxas joint and with your handle. Oh, and the other thing you're gonna need is a big elaborate wood shop. At least a couple of saws, some kind of power drill. If you have a drill press, that's even better. Now, as you probably guessed when I was building this, my original plan was to use this doohickey to attach some washers down here to give me the weight that I need. Obviously you need some weight on the bottom to make this kind of spin up and give you a nice balance effect with your camera. But the washers just weren't heavy enough, so I'm going with a 2.5 pound weight. This guy is really nice. If you attach this to the bottom, you get almost perfectly level just right off the bat. So what I'm gonna do is just mod this here on the bottom just a little bit so that I can attach this weight a little more gracefully than just resting it on here. All right, now just to make sure it's perfectly clear what's going on in here, basically you've got your slider here. There are a couple of washers here, raising this up just a little bit. This is my sea of wood, and then here is a hole that actually serves a couple purposes. It holds the skateboard bearing in the bottom, and then the bolt is running through it. So you can see under here, skateboard bearing. This is where my Traxxas connector comes in. Let me draw that on the chalkboard so you can see it. So I've got the C like this. This is all the laminated plywood. And then there's a socket right here that is wide enough for the skateboard bearing. Skateboard bearing is about that wide. And I'll just delineate it like that. Skateboard bearing has a little hole in it, and into the skateboard bearing goes the Traxxas connector. This is the universal joint, and this is my handle. All right, but up above, I also put a little pocket with a drill bit and then a hole through it. And up through here is the bolt. And the actual bolt goes through there. This is where my washers are. And this is my slider. So with this configuration, you have all the weight coming down exactly on the handle, which is the way I wanted it. I didn't want to offset the handle this way because it would kind of throw with the balance, or offset it this way because it would throw with the balance. You could do that if you wanted to. You just have to balance your C lower down with your weights a little differently. But all of mine, as you can see here in real life, is connected up directly underneath the camera. So you have camera, slider, washers, bolt going up into the slider, skateboard bearing, and Traxxas connector. So the Steadicam was a fun build. It does take a little bit of practice to get really good shots with it, but you'll see I'll do some side-by-sides. With the Steadicam, it's definitely a lot smoother and more steady than without the Steadicam. Let me know what you think of the video. Hit me with a thumbs up if you like it. I'd be interested to see other people who build an all-wood Steadicam. I think it's a pretty elegant, good-looking design.